Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. I think the candidates would agree with me when I say this is all about you. We really appreciate you coming, and we are here for you. Before we, is that better? Yeah, that's great. Before we get started, I would like to introduce Henry Ann Westberg, the clerk of the district court. She has some important information about voting. So, Henry.
Thank you, and thank you, League of Women Voters, for all that you do. I want to let you know a little update on absentee voting. We've mailed out 1,000 ballots so far, which is a huge amount this early. And so we have a strong voter turnout already. And we've had 406 people vote in the office already. So it's going to be a very busy time at the polls on the 6th. As Karen mentioned, the last day to pre-register to vote is this Friday. And after that, you can register and vote on election day, or you can come into my office and register and vote if you have the appropriate ID and you've lived here 30 days prior to election. So, a couple of announcements there. The other thing I wanted to share with you is that I had someone very upset email me the other day, and they had come in with a disabled person, their husband, to vote, and their husband had a hard time coloring in the ballot circle. And I just want to distinguish two things. There's absentee voting and there's early voting. Absentee voting is always going to be a paper ballot that you color the circle in with a pencil. Write-ins ended the other day. We will be able to get our definitions for our express votes that are ADA compliant. Anyone can vote on them if they're blind or can't move their arms. There's a puffer. They're completely ADA compliant for anyone who wants to vote in private. So if you know people in the community that would like to do that, ask them to wait till we have our early voting starts. And I hope to start early voting, well, it depends on our vendor and how quick we can get the thumb drive, but hopefully as early as next Monday. So I just want to make that clarification. So with that, I'll give the time to the candidates.
I've been asked to introduce one other person, if she is here. Kathy, maybe, are you here? Abbott, sorry.
Yes.
Oh, hello. So everyone, that is Catherine Abbott. She is the unopposed candidate for the position of coroner. And also let me, before we begin, just go over the format very briefly. So the candidates are mostly here to answer your questions. And so we have paper and pencil for you to write questions and give them to one of the runners. If the runners don't mind raising their hand one more time just to indicate who you are so that people can fix their eyes on you if they have a question they want to write down and hand over. I would ask that when you write your questions, you keep in mind a couple of things, if you don't mind. First, make sure you identify which office you're asking the question to, whether it's one of the candidates for the county commission or assessor or treasurer in this first hour. But also, by the same token, if you don't mind, don't prefer you not pose questions to individual candidates so that the questions remain general and suitable for candidates for the office all to address. So the format's going to go this way. First, we're going to have opening statements. Each candidate is going to have 2 minutes to make an opening statement. After that, we'll have the candidates start fielding your questions from you all. They will each candidate will have 2 minutes to answer the question as well. And I know I can trust the candidates to stay within those time limits. And then at the end of the hour, we're going to have each of the candidates take 1 minute to summarize. So that's the way it's going to go. And I guess it makes sense in terms of the way the seating is arranged, that in terms of the opening statements, I'll start to my immediate right with Mr. Johnson, and then we'll go over to Ms. I know I'm going to LaFortune. Thank you. And then we'll go outward from there, so that each of the offices for each candidate can start their opening statement. So, Mr. Johnson, if you don't mind starting us off.